Mystery of the bull moose blocking NY Trail. What wildlife researchers found. A mysterious moose blocks a New York mountain trail, leaving wildlife experts baffled. Imagine hiking through the picturesque Adirondack Mountains, only to find a massive bull moose standing in your way, refusing to budge. This is the unusual scenario that has been unfolding on the Goodman Mountain Trail in the Horseshoe Lake Wild Forest since June the 6th, prompting New York State wildlife officials to close the path and monitor the potentially ailing animal. The moose, estimated to be around 4 years old, 6 feet tall at the shoulder, and weighing over 900 pounds, has been lingering around the trail near the summit, sometimes sitting and sometimes foraging in a small area. But here's where it gets controversial. Despite attempts to coax the moose away, it refuses to leave. And this is the part most people miss. This behavior is extremely unusual for moose, which typically migrate to lower elevations during this time of year to feed on aquatic vegetation. Wildlife research scientist Dave Kramer notes, "This is very unusual behavior. We're not sure what's driving it. The agency suspects an underlying illness might be influencing the moose's behavior, as moose are susceptible to parasites that can lead to their deaths." However, wildlife staffers who recently observed the moose up close did not find obvious signs of disease, although the animal does appear slightly thinner than expected for this time of year. The trail remains closed due to concerns that the large animal could pose a danger to people if approached too closely, despite showing no signs of aggression. The state is keeping a close eye on the moose with 3 trail cameras and regular treks up the mountain. Kramer explains, his body condition hasn't deteriorated to a point where we're concerned that he's struggling. So right now, we're just kind of monitoring periodically and assessing each time. New York State is on the southern edge of moose rage, with a population that was wiped out in the 1800s, but has gradually grown from animals that wandered in from other northern states and Canada starting around 1980. There are roughly 700 moose in the Adirondack region, and conservation officers have had success in rescuing moose in distress, such as the bull moose that fell through the ice of Lake Abenaki in January. As the mystery surrounding this moose continues to unfold, we're left wondering what could be driving this unusual behavior. Is it an underlying illness or something else entirely? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Mystery of the bull moose blocking New York Trail. A majestic 900-pound bull moose has claimed a mountain peak for himself, and for months, no one, not even the experts, can figure out why. In a perplexing situation unfolding in New York's Adirondack Mountains, a massive bull moose has become an unlikely and stubborn resident on a popular hiking trail, leaving wildlife researchers both fascinated and concerned. Since early June, this magnificent creature has been lingering around the summit of the Goodman Mountain Trail, forcing state officials to close the path to the public as they try to unravel this natural mystery. The Department of Environmental Conservation, EDEC, reports that the moose is confining himself to a small area near the creek, sometimes sitting for long periods and other times foraging. Attempts by wildlife staff to gently encourage him to move along have been completely unsuccessful. He simply won't budge. And this is the part that has wildlife biologists scratching their heads. This is very unusual behavior, explained Dave Kramer, a research scientist with the agency. He noted that during the summer, moose typically descend to lower elevations. There, they spend their time in wetlands and ponds, feeding on the rich aquatic vegetation that helps them bulk up. This particular bull, however, is giving the exact opposite. Based on his impressive size, standing about 6 feet tall at the shoulder and weighing over 900 pounds, and the spread of his antlers, Kramer estimates the moose is a healthy 4 years old. So why is he acting so strangely? The leading theory is that an underlying illness influencing behavior might be at play. Moose are particularly susceptible to debilitating parasites like brainworm, which can cause neurological damage and lead to disorientation and odd behavior. Another culprit could be a heavy infestation of winter ticks, which can leave a moose anemic and weak. But here's where the mystery deepens. Wildlife staff recently managed to get close enough for a visual inspection and found no obvious signs of disease. Although the moose does appear a little thinner than we would expect this time of year, Kramer admitted, highlighting the challenge of diagnosing an animal in the wild without a hands-on examination. For now, the moose hasn't displayed any aggression, The trail closure, located in the town of Tupper Lake, is primarily a safety measure. After all, an animal of this size could pose an unintentional danger to people who get too close. To keep an eye on this subject, the state has set up free trail cameras and has staff making regular treks up the mountain for wellness checks. This leads to a controversial point in wildlife management: the decision to simply monitor the situation rather than intervene more directly. Officials feel that the moose's condition hasn't worsened to a critical point. His body condition hasn't deteriorated to a point where we're concerned that he's struggling, Kramer stated. So right now, we're just kind of monitoring periodically and assessing each time. This case is especially interesting given the history of moose in New York. The state sits at the southern edge of their natural range, and the entire population was wiped out in the 1800s due to